Hello.
No, don't. All right, hello. Just mute, bitch. All right. So don't.
Yeah, I'll mute
Actually,
him.
can you just mute everyone who isn't me or Kenox?
I'll mute everyone. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so for whoever is judging this, the topic is Yumeko versus Brian in emotional management.
No, not Brian. Dexter.
I mean Dexter, yeah, Dexter. And I will be taking Yumeko, and he will be taking Dexter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so to present my feat, I would like to give some context first. Hyako Academy, where Yumeko attends, is known for gambling. There is like the entire social structure is just revolved around gambling. Everyone gambles all the time.
Mhm.
And Yumeko enters this academy, right? And she gambles a lot there. And since her early childhood, she's always been gambling. Her caretaker has literally like taught her how to gamble her entire life. And she even has like the dopamine her dopamine level doesn't spike unless it's like unless she's gambling basically. She has a deficiency and every other activity in her life doesn't bring her nearly as much joy as gambling.
Mhm.
Okay, so why do I say all of this? The point I want to make is that like gambling is like what her life revolves around, right? And in order to execute the tactic of being able to sell her votes to the student council, um, she has to stop gambling for like I believe an entire month, and this obviously takes like a huge cognitive strain. And let me give some more context on why this is like an incredible feat. Okay, so like on the surface, it might seem like you're just the average addict and stuff, but her heritage is literally known for gambling. So she has like this deep disposition genetically from gambling all the time. And what like makes this even more potent is the fact that epigenetics are also at play here. So like the environment that she was raised in would like obviously affect her plasticity, and that goes back to her learning ability. So when you grow up as a kid, you take in your environment and stuff, and that will structure how you like see the your entire life. That's why like you get like nostalgia for example your old home and stuff. It's like the foundation of your life. And Yumiko, who takes in information really easily, really fast, as you can see from dice control, would obviously be much more prone to gambling. Like her entire basically plasticity is just engaged to that, and dopamine is responsible for learning as well. So it's like a feedback loop, basically, where her entire cognition just revolves around gambling. It's basically sustained through gambling, and her treadmill, like for that dopamine, would be at a baseline where gambling is necessary to even like cognitively function. And not doing that would put such a huge strain on every single neurotransmitter or like every single cognitive activity that she would do, that it would like leave her paralyzed. And despite that, she is still able to go through it, even though her environment is literally actively reinforcing this the entire time. And let me tell you that this is her first time ever stopping gambling, right? She's going cold turkey on her very first time, and she's able to do this consistently. That's like what makes it so insane.
I'm sorry, did you just make a statement that she would become paralyzed unless she gambles?
Well, with real life cognition, yeah, but obviously, I mean, fictionally, it probably wouldn't happen. But like, if we were to take like a real life person who were to be in her environment.
I mean, again, you would probably consider Yumeko to be greater than just a real human in a above human
Yeah, of course,
cognition, I suppose. So
that would just upscale her emotional management.
how?
Yeah, what do you mean? How she's able to manage more stuff?
Mm, what do you mean she's able to manage more stuff? But I still don't get. Okay, yeah, sure, I would understand that this is a good EM feed, blah blah blah. Yeah, sure, but I still you wouldn't just like you don't really mean that she would be paralyzed, but that doesn't matter. I can, if you want, I can just explain my feat. It's something
Yeah.
similar, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. So I'm just gonna provide context, right? So basically, Dexter in season 8, he's like a serial killer who basically loves killing. I'm gonna provide scans. He's basically stating that in season 2, for an example, he didn't kill for 1 or 2 months, if I recall correctly, and he basically couldn't even function at all, just due to how effective this routine for him is. And basically, in season 7, he states that when he doesn't kill, he feels like blood is literally he's seeing blood physically, that and it feels like it's like filling him up, and eventually that it turns to black and that it will explode his fucking head because it's just that mentally affecting him. That's all he does. Like his killing urge is that horrible and that effective on him that we only see him in season 2 not kill for basically 1 or 2 months, and he couldn't function. He mentally couldn't function basically without killing. It was that horrible to him. And I also have statements that just indicate how horrible this addiction is. And he's basically prone to killing his entire life. He has this urge since he was like a very young boy. It was like he states that it is like a void that just keeps on. It's endless basically. And basically Dexter here kills for like the entire show is basically Dexter just being a serial killer. He's killing people. We see him enjoy this. This is like the only thing that is positively affecting him until the later seasons, but I'll talk about that later, I guess. But basically in New Blood after season 8, he decides that he won't kill for he's going to try to contain himself from not killing, and this is like mentally, even from just 1 month, he physically couldn't function without killing. He was genuinely losing every capability of functioning, basically. And in New Blood, he states that he didn't kill for 10 whole years. Just he basically engaged himself and managed his state that well that he was capable of controlling this urge that well for 10 whole years. That's basically, I can send the scans for it. Wait, I'm gonna go. Wait, I'm gonna send it here. 1 second. Yeah, I'm sending them. I'm gonna be back in the morning. You can take a look at them, okay?
Yeah, okay. Tell me when you're ready for my counter argument.
Lando, I also recommend you to send scans.
Yeah, sure. It is really very simple. I mean, my feet can just be taking a surface value, so it's not that complex. All right, you done?
Yeah, I'm back. Is there like any questions regarding the feat?
No, I can just get straight into the argumentation.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Okay, so Dexter is clearly not fucking good at emotional management. Like you say, in his early childhood or whenever, he always had those urges, but he literally did not fucking kill anyone in those times. And that fucking neurological response that you mentioned, like, didn't apply to him at all, right? And by the way, his behavior is totally not accepted. Unlike Yumeko's, where it's like reinforced and she has that reinforcement bias, in Dexter's case, it works in the opposite way, but he's supposed to fucking suppress it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're fucking scans about like him bleeding out of his eyes or whatever, there's like zero proof of that being given, right? And like I said, if that was the case, he would have been affected by it since he was a child, or like anything that would have given him dopamine would have elicited that reaction. Because killing people would just prompt dopamine. It wouldn't like cause any other neurotransmitter to fire. So it's like the only thing he has to manage, and it still like didn't happen. So obviously, when he's not going to kill anyone for 10 years, he's like obviously not going to be affected like that, like he was a kid. And the thing about it being negatively reinforced, when he stops killing, it's positively reinforced, right? He feels good about himself. It's not like in Yumiko's case where she's socially shunned and where she can't like adapt to that. And also, in Dexter's case, he doesn't have any fucking neuroplasticity to warrant such an extreme reaction, right? He wouldn't have to fucking bleed out of his eyes or whatever just because he got so fucking addicted to killing. He doesn't have any learning ability feats on that caliber. Unlike Yumiko with fucking dice control, who's able to pick up everything like a sponge. Okay, that's all.
You basically stated like I never really mentioned Dexter's neuroplasticity at all. I don't know why you had to mention that, but
Mentioned it because you mentioned that he would get like extreme reactions from not killing anybody. But I'm telling you, no one can get that addicted that fast unless their neuroplasticity would affect them that hard.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
If he has good neuroplasticity, then the addiction will affect him more. Do you understand that? Hello? Yumiko has good neuroplasticity and therefore she will be more affected. Do you understand that?
So she has more neuroplasticity, that means she would get more mentally affected. Can you prove that?
That you learn or whatever? Like, what do you mean?
I mean, just the thing you said. You said that if a character has like, if she has better neuroplasticity, that means she would have better YM or whatever you said. She would be more affected by the urge of not doing a certain thing or whatever.
Yeah, when you learn faster, you'll be able to integrate it faster, and thus it'll be it will be a habit faster, and that's why neuroplasticity affects it.
Okay,
Is
it
it
would
simple?
be a habit faster, but so if a character is so used to its routine, whatever, and he just stops doing it, well, how would it be any worse? Could you explain that?
I mean, if you're used to something, if you have like that dopamine treadmill, your baseline is like on a high level, right? And when you stop doing that, you'll obviously be negatively affected. And reaching
Of
that
course.
higher baseline is easier for people who have greater neuroplasticity.
I mean, I think I pointed out pretty greatly that Dexter has been killing for at least around 20 years at that point when he stopped killing and he got so used to killing overall that he would be extremely mentally degraded by the fact that he won't kill. And also I did the fact we literally see an example of him not killing. It doesn't matter if he's not a kid, but he got used to killing around when he was like 20, I suppose. And he genuinely didn't kill for like a month, and that extremely mentally defected him. He couldn't function basically. I can also prove that with statements.
Yeah, okay, then that just means he's more demerited if he's not able to control that function, unlike with Yumiko. His environment doesn't fucking warrant that reaction, bro. Like, what do you mean?
The sole fact that he doesn't kill would just negatively imply him. He doesn't have to be around people that he should kill to be mentally affected. The fact that he's just not feeling the sole feeling of killing someone is enough. I don't see why he should be revolved in the environment of not of basically easy targets or whatever to be more mentally affected by it when it's clearly shown how much he's mentally affected by it.
Bro, your environment influences your fucking behavior.
Of
And
course,
all-
I never disagree with that.
Okay,
And
hold on.
yeah,
The dopamine you would get from not killing anyone and feeling like a
Mhm.
good person would already be able to like substantiate what you lost from not killing people. That's why I mentioned that social shunning point. You're obviously going to be a good
Oh, I
person.
mean, yeah.
Wait,
You
you're
can-
obviously going to feel good if you fucking stop killing people. It's not like in Yumeko's case where she'll feel even worse after not doing it because everyone around her is gambling.
Uh, I also want to say that why would he simply doesn't feel any moral justification or happiness from not killing. He quite literally does the opposite in season 2. He genuinely feels awful and disgusting that he cannot function in normal society because his urge is affecting him that much. I don't see
Okay.
why he would. Yeah.
If he feels awful that he can't fit in into society, then that means he wants to fit in into society, right?
Yeah, he needs to blend. Uh, he needs to mask his serial killer life.
Wait,
Overall, yeah.
your verbatim was that he feels bad because he can't fit in. So if he were
No,
to
no, no,
feel
no, 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 no. I didn't say that. He feels. I said that he wouldn't feel anything positively from the sole fact that he's not a killer anymore. That's what I said.
okay, okay, okay. Either way, the environment of Dexter wouldn't warrant that fucking reaction, bro. Like, there is no way to cultivate such a fucking strong addiction or whatever. Even then, like, if you get affected that bad by a lack of dopamine, then that just like downscales your fucking emotional management. Like, if I were to like go into a casino and then be fucking paralyzed after not fucking gambling, that would just be dog shit, right?
Yes, but
Okay, so why is that not the case for fucking Dexter being affected by his dopamine not being present?
he's simply regulating himself that well. He contained himself from something that would literally cause him positive dopamine or whatever, positive feelings.
If
Yeah.
he was shit the first time, okay, let's say he was actually like shit the first time and was like paralyzed or whatever, that then he just went like normal, right? That doesn't upscale anything. That just means he got rid of that weakness that he had the first time.
No, I just said that he couldn't. That he's so mentally. That's what Yumeko would also do. She's so mentally affected by the fact that she's not getting positive stimuli or the dopamine rush or whatever she craves for, and she would get mentally affected by that. So when you said she would basically get paralyzed from just how this would be affecting her, right?
Uh, I mean, if she's able to manage it, then that just would upscale her.
Well, Dexter does that too. So what's your point?
Anyway, even then, my point was a fucking hyperbole, so it doesn't even matter.
Mm-hmm. So
So tell
Yeah.
me why Dexter's speed. Tell me why Dexter's speed is fucking good.
I think I pointed out that his urge is that great. This is showing this big symptoms of his irregular killing, basically not killing, that he gets so much negative effect from not filling his urge. So when he doesn't feel his urge for 10 years, he's essentially regulating himself and managing himself so well that he overcomes these horrible feelings and side effects of it. It's pretty simple.
Okay, let's distinguish two things.
Mm-hmm.
What you can control when you take in and what you can't control when you take in information. Okay, your fucking prefrontal cortex can override your amygdala, right? And that's what we define as emotional management. Okay, and in Dexter's case, he doesn't. Or let me just start with Yumeko, right?
Yeah,
Her
go
neural
ahead.
is great, right? And because of that, she's going to unconsciously take in a lot of fucking information around her, right? But despite that, she's able to override it with her prefrontal cortex. That's like what makes it so impressive. Despite her great neuroplasticity, she's able to still override it. In Dexter's case, we don't have any feats of that neuroplasticity. So that just means his prefrontal cortex is not functioning normally until he actually manages to make it work later when he doesn't have those fucking symptoms anymore. Or we can even interpret that his body like stopped putting out those negative hormones after he had it the first time because they were able to just regulate it after like such a negative experience. That's just like how your body adapts.
So you're basically saying that Yumeko being near her salvation is basically what makes this feat so great.
You're near her what?
Near her salvation of gambling, I guess. Her being around gambling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically where's the statement for like her urge, I guess, to gamble, like her, like I don't know how to explain it. Where's that exact statement?
Look at that thing about the snake with her family and stuff. And then
Okay.
there's also the panel about how gambling is her life or whatever. I don't know if I sent it there.
I mean, it's a pretty. I'll just read it. Give me a moment.
By the way, we have to keep talking, otherwise the voice recorder doesn't work.
Okay. Like, how much is the limit? Just so I can know.
I think like 10 minutes or something.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna take 10 minutes reading this can, don't worry.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, I see. So, what do you exactly want from Dexter? Well, what is the requirement for this feat to be so great?
Bro, that's your fucking burden. I mean, just like not being overridden by
No,
his
I'm
reaction.
just asking in general, what would make a feat like Yumeko, for an example, basically her being exposed to her to her thing, aka gambling, right? That's the
Yeah.
main interesting part of the kill. So essentially, Dexter being exposed to people even in season 2 would just activate his urge. It's simple. He was contemplating on killing his own sister from not killing, basically. I can even prove that. He
Okay,
was
no,
genuine.
I want
Yeah.
to like start again. Okay, like your fucking environment. I was basically talking about how her fucking mirror neurons would like adapt that behavior. The comparison would be if everyone around Dexter was a serial killer, then he would watch other people kill, and that behavior would be learned by his brain. But that's clearly not the case with Dexter. It's just his impulses coming out and out again. In Yumiko's case, everyone around her is gambling, and thus she's like basically gambling with her mirror neurons or whatever. She's just watching that behavior and thus learning it. That's not what happens to Dexter.
So exactly how does that make the feat greater?
Her addiction would just be more fueled by that environment, basically.
How much more?
Bro, I don't know how much you want me to quantify
No,
it.
no, no. I
That's
would
the
just need
expression.
you basically pointed out that people around her like doing the things she likes would cause her to be even more affected by not gambling,
Yeah,
and
it's a
that's why the feed is great.
yeah. It's a socially accepted behavior, and it's even encouraged. That's the thing. In Dexter's case, that's just like not the thing.
So how does that make the feed better or Dexter's feed worse than because him self-regulating himself for that much longer time, 1 month, causes her this much effect over Dexter, who even showed that he gets affected by this even by 2 months pretty badly. He's capable of self-regulating himself for 10 whole years.
Yeah, I'm just explaining what warranted her addiction to be so strong. In Dexter's case, that's just like not the case. He wouldn't have
Okay,
like
yeah.
the surrounding case that like his environment would. I mean, addiction would go so strong.
Yeah, it's not a necessary factor. He still the feat doesn't lose him managing his own self-consciousness and emotions just because of the fact that none in his environment is actually killing people and he's being affected by that. It doesn't lose its value, simply.
Yeah, of course. I'm just okay. I'll just say for the last time, it's a negatively seen behavior. That's why he wouldn't want to do it. In Yumiko's case, it's a
No,
positively seen behavior. That's why he would.
okay, listen. The fact that killing as a concept is not a positively accepted behavior doesn't mean that Dexter doesn't feel the extreme urge to kill, and that anything prevents him from doing so. Simple as that. Nothing really prevents him from killing people. He's that skilled at killing people. He could do it easily, but he still chose to self-regulate himself. That's the point.
Okay, do you want to conclude?
Mm, I'm
Okay,
just,
I was
yeah.
are you guys gonna go through every scan one more time, or are you guys like?
No, it's fine. It's fine. I just want to conclude now. I'm tired.
You just want to conclude?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't see like I'm just gonna go over it again. Dexter's uh Dexter's like urge and his killing not being socially accepted doesn't mean the regulation, the management isn't so great, and explained why, because he stated to feel disgusting by not killing, and he's essentially doing it over 10 years.
Okay, I will just make the last argument for why Yumiko's feat is better.
Yeah,
So
sure, go ahead.
I've already substantiated what warranted their addiction to growth so strong. I've already explained every single factor that would contribute to the growing addiction that is outside of her control. Now I mentioned how the prefrontal cortex overrides all of these other problem variables, and she's able to still like manage herself. In Dexter's case, however, there are no such factors in the environment. Yet the addiction still grows. That means his fucking prefrontal cortex was not able to fucking regulate anything. That's why the feat is fucking dog shit and below the average person. Okay. Do you want to drop your last argument?
Uh, can you essentially define what prefrontal cortex is doing? Just define it.
Just overriding the amygdala.
Can you just send the article or whatever you're using?
Yeah, sure, I guess. Check the scans channel.
Yeah, let me read this. Give me a moment.
Bro, please just make your last argument. I don't want to wait all day.
I mean, you got into debate. I just want to read your point. I just want to know exactly what you're arguing for. I don't see what's the problem. I'm gonna take like 2 minutes.
Uh, wait, can you? Nah, never mind.
What is it?
Just tell me when you're done reading, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
By the way, are you fine with this? With the verdict being uploaded in Galera or something?
Where?
The server with the Baku picture.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. I don't mind.
Alright. Do you have like any judge in mind? Because I can like get Riru or something.
Who would you have in mind?
Like Riru, Muichiro, Fanta, like really popular people.
Yeah, you can do anyone if you're liking. I don't mind it.
Alright.
Just give me a moment. Wait, also one more question before, like, how do you define EM?
The ability to manage your emotions.
Yeah, sure, I agree.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm not gonna read all of that. It's a really long study, but essentially, I would just wanted to say that you basically said that Dexter's urge doesn't really activate the prefrontal cortex that is required for EM. Basically, did you say that?
What? No. I said his prefrontal cortex is incapable of regulating those reactions caused by his amygdala.
Okay, so how does that make the EM worse?
Because the primary thing that you're controlling when you're managing your emotions is your prefrontal cortex.
So basically, Yumeko couldn't contain herself and was affected by this so much within a month. So how does that really, what makes her feel anything? Because she was exposed to it environmentally, that means it's so great.
Because of how strong her addiction is.
Yeah, it just also proved how strong Dexter's addiction is. So, and the environment should, let's say, it would increase her urge to gamble, but let's assume it would assume it by like a lot, but it still doesn't change the fact that I just proved how horrible and how badly Dexter's addicted to killing, and he's essentially self-regulating himself without crazy environmental temptations, I suppose. So how does this? Well, what do you want to say here?
Okay, I already made my argument. Do you just want to conclude, bro?
Yeah, sure, whatever. Yeah, go ahead.